Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to take 19 of the Squared Circle Jerks podcast of the weekend. Listen, I'm telling the story. My name's Byron, his name's Mike, he's argumentative and pedantic, and we are, we being me, being messed all up with the head cold. I currently have a Black Hall's cough lozenge in my mouth. And we're talking about the Elimination Chamber because we're going to start off soft, and then the next podcast will be all about that New Japan.
All about that New Japan goodness. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, New Japan and ROH goodness.
Correct. All of the things that are good. We start off... Did you watch the pre-show?
Did not watch the pre-show. Had better things to do.
So, basic recap of the weekend involved Mike and I watching day one of the Honor Rising on Saturday. And Sunday afternoon, we watched day two. And then there was a break of about an hour between there when then we watched the Elimination Chamber. I slept through that hour because my brain is all compressed and things. And so, yeah, neither of us watched... The club beat the Miz. I'd have no idea how the hell did those plucky upstarts, those rookies, the club beat the Miztourage. No idea.
I have no idea. That's got to be the biggest upset of the year.
And they did it in less than 9 minutes.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's stunning.
I'm stunned. We had so the curtain jerker of the entire card was the women's Elimination Chamber, which kind of makes sense in retrospect. They're still trying to figure out the men versus women pacing of things. So the way they kind of configured the Royal Rumble, maybe they weren't happy with it, and they changed things up. So the women's Elimination Chamber was the curtain jerker. None of the singles or tag team matches. It was going to be Elimination Chamber, all the other matches, and then Elimination Chamber. So we had who do we got? We got Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Mickie James, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss. And the entire thing was just shy of half an hour. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, pardon me, came down with brand new white ass gear. Sonya Deville trying to convey with her clothing that she is not only a fake MMA person, but she's also a fake TIE fighter and also not really good at the wrestling.
And a fake pro wrestler fake Japanese pro wrestler.
Fake Japanese because she didn't even have
pad things.
She didn't even have kick pads on, though. She just had, like, a latex thing pulled up to her knee.
I know. I don't really know what that look is supposed to be, honestly.
I don't know.
We described what it is, but I don't know what it's supposed to be.
They're just doing everything wrong with her. I like her enthusiasm about stuff, but everything else is wrong. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's if you take away the two really good Ruby Riott matches, there's not a lot to go with positivity to the career of her so far.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why they fucked Bayley over so hard. So, there is that. They don't know what to do with the easiest layup in the world. How can they possibly be expected to do anything correctly with somebody who's a little complicated? So we had Mandy Rose eliminated first, followed by Sonya Deville, thus killing the faction. Mickie James was eliminated by Bayley, and then Bayley was eliminated by Alexa Bliss, and then Sasha Banks was eliminated by Alexa Bliss. Now that kind of glosses over a bunch of shit, but that's the order things happened. They kept putting over Mandy Rose as being immensely strong, which, based on my internet research, is the truth. She's got amazing legs, and I'm not saying that as like a sexual thing. That chick has got muscular, amazing legs.
She's quite possibly the strongest pound for pound woman they have.
She may be the female Cesaro.
I mean, obviously Nia Jax is the strongest woman they have, but like if we're taking size out of the equation, Mandy Rose probably ranks pretty damn high up there.
Yeah, I know, just being shallow and all that stuff. I've seen pictures of her, selfies, standing in front of large gym mirrors, and her thighs and calves look amazing. I damn sure she can squat I don't even question it. Whatever hyperbole bullshit. If Corey Graves wants to tell me that she's some sort of weird Nigerian transplant that can squat 7,000 pounds, I'll believe it, because she can totally. I think she probably can squat whatever you say she can squat. Yeah. It looks amazing. And then she eliminated first.
And don't worry, we'll talk about hyperbole later.
Yeah. So she got eliminated first because she's clearly the best up and comer. That's how you bury that.
Yeah.
And then Sonya Deville got eliminated after Mickie James climbed up on top of a pod and gave the biggest goddamn whoopee cushion I ever seen.
Yeah, it's a bit weirded out by that because I'm like, why is Mickie the one going to the top of the pod? She's not the one that should really be doing the high flying stuff. I'm like, okay, she just did a big whoopee.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I appreciate the fact that they gave her an opportunity to get a big spot in, because obviously she deserves it and needs it. So that's fine. And then they eliminated, and then Sasha Banks heel turned on Bayley immediately because stupid faces being absolutely handicapped in the brain area.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Pretty dumb. Why not just go down to the final two? Bayley and Banks. And it's even dumber because they've done this a couple times. I mean, the Royal Rumble kind of came in, and I'm willing to forgive the Rumble because it seems like every year someone's got to turn on someone in dumbness. It's like a tradition or some shit. But to have and we got this a bit later in the men's match, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, as well, Control C, Control V.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So that was a bit of a problem. Although it did give you a way to give Alexa Bliss the win with it being somewhat believable, because of course Bliss has been booked as a weak paper champion the whole time for a title run. So you weren't really going to buy her beating Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Yeah. It was really shittily booked, really bad, really bad, really bad.
I kind of disagree in the sense, not that this is good booking, but I thought the booking was based on the starting point and where you wanted to go was as good as it could be. The problem is the booking leading up to this point, and then to get to Mania with Bliss versus Asuka. That's a tall order to do that in a way that I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Just because of the lead up. Like the match itself, if you told me to book the match, I'd change a couple things. I'd have Deville go out before Rose. I'd have Rose go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I'd have Rose go to the Final Three. I'd have the Final Three be Banks, Rose, and Bliss. But not a lot would fundamentally change in this match. It's just the booking leading up into this is puts you in a hole that you're fighting to get out of. Specifically around how you book the title run of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of problems here with the women's division. I've noticed that 90% of the women have, maybe slightly less than 90%, most of the women in the at least the Raw women's division have lame duck gimmicks.
They have a catchphrase in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, Alexa
really
Bliss. Work. Alexa Bliss is the goddess, which only Corey Graves says, and he says it 93 times per second. And she rules nothing. She never wrestles. She's barely on TV. Nobody knows who she is. We're not even given like a Miz kind of reason to be delusional about the goddess thing. Yeah.
And the Miz is poor, but I mean, at least, by WWE standards, he is the Hollywood success story.
I guess, if you count direct to Betamax as success. But I mean, still puts him
in the top 5, sadly.
Fair enough. But then you've got Sasha Banks, who's the legit boss, which means nothing because that waves all the insecurity flags. And she's not in charge of anything. So she's not a boss of anything. And she is in no way legit.
That's the other thing. She's also not really been kicking ass to make her a boss even in any real way.
Yeah, I don't care what slang you use or literal translation, Sasha Banks is not. So there you are.
Yeah.
You've got Sonya Deville, who is fake everything. You've got Mandy Rose, who I'm not sure what her gimmick's supposed to be.
You've got... So that's the one that actually works.
Yeah, there you go. You got Bayley, who's supposed to be the plucky underdog, who is pushed as the top face, but booked to be the jobber, so that doesn't work. You've got Paige, who isn't wrestling anymore because she's got her neck exploded, but they're not announcing it until they go to London in 3 months. So they're keeping her off. They got Nia Jax, who is supposed to be this destroyer who always loses. And you've got Asuka, who's supposed to be a destroyer who always has competitive matches. So that's your women. The only one you got is Mickie James, who's the veteran, who keeps fucking up and making rookie mistakes. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's like I said, I don't mind the booking of this match. I just think the booking of the division has been your problem the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and that it plays into this match, which... So, I mean, the match itself was okay. I was pretty much bored for the first 15 to 20 minutes of it, and then it finished pretty well. With a lot of stupid face stuff happening that doesn't make any sense.
Bit of a botch, I think, with the Twisted Bliss off the top of the pod. I think Sasha Banks was supposed to catch and roll through to hit the bank statement on Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
Because what really happened didn't really make a lot of sense because she basically hit the Twisted Bliss, and Banks no-sold it to roll her into a bank statement. So I think there was a missing step there, and which is not overly surprising because I think probably if you're relying on a power-based catch, Sasha Banks is not who you're using for that spot. So it would have been better options, like for example Mandy Rose if she was in the final three. Other than that, I don't really have a ton to say in terms of spots. I do have a couple.
Like Angry Bayley.
I liked Angry Bayley. Angry Bayley was good.
Yep.
I liked the head scissors face first into a turnbuckle from Sasha Banks and Bayley. That was good. And I like the ending as well because Bliss used her environment to just knock Banks unconscious on the top rope and then DDT her. So that's pretty good as well. So there was some good stuff here. I actually kind of enjoyed Bliss running from them and climbing up the cage. I think it maybe went a little too long.
Yeah, it was a good comedy spot that, it kind of highlights and displays that she's a lame duck champion, and then the finish also plays into her being a lame duck champion. And your championship has been devalued for the past 8 months. So the match itself, like I said, the first 15 minutes-ish, not good, okay, tolerable. And then the last 15 minutes were better than that. And and then she cut a promo afterwards where she's sobbing and crying and she's overcome with emotion.
Yeah, it's the fake face, the fake out face promo.
Yeah, so I was watching it going, why the fuck is she crying? What the fuck? Why is this? You didn't do anything in the match. Why would you have this emotional reaction to something you were barely participating in other than a couple comedy spots and a couple of jumps off of a pod? Why would you do that? And then she flips, I'm in heel mode now. I'm like, well, that's even less believable because I didn't believe the first thing.
Yeah, it didn't really work all that well. The other thing is the commentators did this in the men's match where they're talking about temporary alliances and that kind of thing. And they did it here where it's like, well, Sasha Banks should, it was basically talk about whether you should eliminate Bayley or eliminate Banks or eliminate possible allies, and it's like you're constantly trying to talk someone into doing a 2v1. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah,
it was
Corey Graves was the absolute worst thing I've ever heard on commentary for the first half of this pay-per-view.
And they did it with the men's match, although it was a little bit better in the men's match because it was largely just talking about ganging up on Strowman. But in the women's match, you had kind of 3 twosomes, and it's like it was. You should have eliminated Bayley and left yourself alone with both members of Absolution. Are you retarded?
He is retarded.
And Coachman was the only one making sense. So go Coach,
which is so weird. Yeah, go Coach. Coach apparently OP. So that took us into the Bear versus Titus Squirrel Hide. And this was okay.
It was fine.
I didn't have any problems with it. They did a bunch of spots. There was some stuff. Apollo got some stuff in. Apollo got the shit kicked out of him for a long time. Titus O'Neil got some stuff in. Dana Brooke looked good. I actually noticed during this match that the ring was actually shorter than usual.
It did seem that way, yeah.
Because, Dana Brooke, I'm used to Dana Brooke being barely able to be chest high to this thing. Don't ask me how I realized that. And she's about stomach high on this thing. So they obviously shortened the ring to, I guess, accommodate the Elimination Chamber. Why they couldn't, I guess it's to save weight. If you're trimming off a foot of extra steel off the bottom, you're not going to have that much weight or a lot less weight. But yeah, it was all right. There was no reason for this match to even happen because, quite frankly, Titus Squirrelhide had beat the Bar repeatedly. So
it's a weird one that I'm kind of willing to give a mulligan to because I feel like this was supposed to be Rollins and Jordan in this match.
I guess.
So you kind of had to.
But they had 2 weeks to figure that out.
You had to flub it. Yeah, they still didn't do a good job because they gave Worldwide 3 separate victories over the champions, and I'm like,
yeah. Over the course of a month.
How? I've said it before. You're very anti non-title matches. I am okay with one. I am okay with you got a pin on the champions. Here's your title shot. I am not okay with you pinned the champions 3 times. Here's your title shot. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'd be okay with a non-title match as long as you can, in any way, if you could get anybody of your thousands of writers to give me a way to justify you even having that match. If you can justify having that match, okay, cool. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it once, twice, or 3 times. And there's obviously, after you've shit-kicked the champions 3 times, maybe you should just have them drop the titles on your lap and suck your dick, and then they can go the fuck home. You don't even need to have this match at this point. You've kicked the shit out of them 3 times. Who gives a fuck? This was not a match that needed to happen. Let alone on a pay. This shouldn't have even been this should have been a dark match on a house show. Which, this should not have been on a pay-per-view. That being said, the match that actually took place, fine. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. I didn't have any problems. But
it didn't get hyped at any point, though.
There's no reason to.
Yeah.
Either you're going to put the titles on a team that beat the champs 3 times in a row, which you didn't do, so that none of that made any sense, or you're going to have the champs win, which doesn't make any sense. So, none of it made any sense. So, there's no reason to have that match.
Yep.
Which brought us into Asuka versus Nia Jax. Which was fine.
It was fine. I don't like the fact that we got two matches between these two where the title wasn't on the line.
Yeah.
Not that they have a title, but it feels like that should have been saved for a title match. So that was a bit of a problem. thought things were pretty decent. Asuka and Jax did kind of botch the big drop thing, where Jax drops her butt on you, basically.
Yeah.
And ended up catching Asuka's legs. That probably sucked.
Yeah, she went for a somersault senton, and I think Asuka was definitely supposed to roll out of the way, but only got half out of the way. Her legs got crushed together underneath Nia Jax. That had to not be cool. Other than that, though, it was fine. I fully expected Nia Jax to go over and them to throw the winning streak right in the toilet for zero payoff whatsoever, because they didn't book any of this. They barely booked this thing ahead of time. They had like a couple of head-on collisions, and that was it. And they only lasted about 30 seconds each. So there's no reason for this. Again, not really a reason for this match to happen, let alone that stipulation.
And my problems, though, largely come at the end of the match when Jax is a sore loser and she beats up on Asuka and throws her through and puts her through the barricade.
Yeah.
And the problem here is Jax just got her heat back, but it's not going to go anywhere because you're going to Asuka and Bliss at Mania. So what was the point of this?
Yep.
And they tried to play it up like the injury was going to be a big thing, but I'm like, we're 6 weeks from Mania. She put her back first through the barricade. So your options here are she's so seriously injured, like we're talking like broken spine, serious back problems, that she's not going to be at Mania.
Yeah.
Or it's minor enough that in 6 weeks she's going to largely be fine. And it's not really going to play a role in the match.
And that's real life. That's not even kayfabe. Kayfabe is she's showing up on Raw, she's totally fine. And all of that shit was completely pointless and did nothing, has no long-term heat, doesn't even have short-term heat. I barely remember that even happened. So what's the fucking useless garbage nonsense going on here?
It's another example of, we've kind of gone through this where, like, the matches themselves are fine, but the bookings surrounding the matches invalidate the matches also.
Yeah, none of it. A lot of this did not make sense, which leads us into the feud between Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, which hasn't made any. Like, listen, on paper, this is great. This is fantastic. You've got all the talkers in the world here. You've got all of the rambling excess. You've got nonsensical barbarity. All of the things are happening here in the talking spectrum, and you booked it all wrong, completely wrong. And Bray Wyatt has gone over clean twice, 3 times?
I think only twice.
Maybe only twice? So Bray Wyatt has had zero issue just dominating Matt Hardy, getting rid of him. This is not even a feud. It's really not. Just the fact that they keep doing promos against each other is the only reason this keeps going on. But that being said, this match, again, was totally fine. There's nothing, I can't point to anything really wrong with it. It was okay. It didn't really get me hyped up. It was serviceable.
Yeah, I don't think that a match between Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy on a technical level is ever going to get me like that hyped up. I think Matt's a little too old, and Bray's never been that fantastic of a technical worker. But they tell a good story with it, and the fucking with Bray Wyatt early on was really enjoyable, and I enjoyed when he did his like crab thing. That Matt Hardy, unlike everyone else who gets scared by it, which I've never really particularly understood, just claps.
Wonderful, yeah!
Wonderful!
I did enjoy that. That was one part I really enjoyed. But I mean, the rest of it was good. Like they actually match up really well in the ring together. I could definitely watch them wrestle more matches, but could you get some booking together, for fuck's sake?
Yeah, there's a definitive lack of storyline with this thing. I mean, we had 2 kind of throwaway matches where they lost, and where Matt lost and Matt won this one with a twist of fate. But it was I am woken. What do? I'm going to go feud with Bray Wyatt. I'm going to lose 2 straight matches, and then I'm going to win here. But there doesn't seem to really be like a stake of any kind to this. Like, they're talking about it like, oh, this is the war of light and dark.
Yeah, but nothing happens and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's no belt, and there's no overall tangible thing, which, I mean, I guess you could say, well, they're both crazy, and that's why there's no tangible thing. But
Yeah,
Nice
I
if there were.
don't get it. Hopefully Borash can sort that shit out.
Then we had the Ronda signing.
Indeed. And then, we had the Ronda signing. So Ronda comes down, and they make it very clear that she's not asked for any special treatment. She doesn't ask for anything special or unique.
Except to skip NXT.
Yeah. And then your boy Angle starts chirping, and he says stuff about how the McMahon and Helmsley era has talked shit, mad shit, all kinds of shit. And then your boy Helmsley, tries to escort Angle back up the ramp and to the back to the hospital because he's got the flu, kayfabe. Double kayfabe at this point. And he keeps talking shit, and eventually Ronda gets pissed off. Hunter comes back in the ring, gets sidewalk slammed. Not even really. It's not really even a judo throw, or is it like day one judo shit?
Yeah, kind of.
So some day one judo shit through the table, which is cool. You get Ronda Rousey slamming one of the top heels in the last 20 years through a table. Cool, that's good. Like that. She before that she stared down Stephanie, which brought Hunter back in the ring. So she stared down Stephanie and like shoved her into the ropes. Stared down Hunter before slamming him, which was cool. I like that. That was good. Like you've definitely tapped into what the Ronda Rousey weigh-in ceremony is all about. Mm-hmm. So that's good. And then you get Mrs. Hunter slapping Ronda and then getting away scot-free again because no reason to give. What the fuck's wrong with you?
There better be a payoff.
There's not going to be a payoff
at the very least, because otherwise this is ridiculous.
There's going to be no payoff.
Probably
which
is the problem with if they're trying to create the next Vince McMahon via Stephanie McMahon. They have to realize that what made Vince good is Vince was willing to be embarrassed, willing to be humiliated, willing to be the evil boss, getting his comeuppance.
Yeah,
if you're not, this is not going to work.
Yeah, so they got her character pretty much absolutely correct. So that's good. That's good.
She did,
but they didn't get anything else right.
Yeah, she seemed a bit weak on the mic, which I suspected.
Yeah,
I think there's this idea that like Ronda Rousey was really good on the mic, and she really wasn't.
Well, she's sincere. She's Ember Moon-esque. She's very sincere, and you're gonna have to work with it because the rest of it's not gonna be any good.
Yeah. The only things I didn't like about this, one, that Stephanie again escaped scot-free, which I'm okay with if there's a payoff eventually. I just don't think there will be.
No.
I feel like, ironically, as an MMA fan, I'm actually less interested in this than a lot of people.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about it, but I'm not. I don't know. Maybe this is actually a big thing that's going to bring in business. But I look at it from like I think I'm maybe too deep into the MMA thing because I'm listening to their. We were debating this when they brought her out, and they're like, she's a judo champion. I'm like, really? I mean, she's won some judo tournaments, but they're tournaments that largely don't mean a ton.
She won 3 gold medals in her career in international competition.
Yeah, against not the best in the world.
Does not matter. Does not matter.
I said it though. I used the example of Mike Nichols, and no one knows who Mike Nichols is. I know who he is because I met him. But if we're doing that, he's a BJJ champion because he won the blue belt division at Pan Am's.
Okay, good. He's a champion.
It's hyperbole is my point though, which I guess
actual fact though.
WWE is the land of hyperbole, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, she is, and you can't possibly deny this. She is a judo champion.
I am a chess champion then because I won
Fair
at
enough.
school level.
Yeah, you won a thing. You're a chess champion. That's not a disputable fact. What you're not saying, or what they're not saying, to be specific, is which championship she won. They're not wrong. They're just not filling you in on the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm getting at, though, is I think there are probably people who are going to be impressed by those accolades. She's a judo champion, etc. And that's what I mean is kind of the weird irony is that despite, you would think this is for like MMA fans who are, who are going to kind of become interested in wrestling. I'm like, I think ironically it's not.
No,
I think it's
not.
It's ironically
not at all.
less for us.
In the MMA world, listen, we saw her lose badly on a couple of occasions. She ran the fuck away. She went to like a C-list Hollywood status. All of her big golden opportunities melted into the fog. Nothing's happening for her. She's going to be in some she's going to be in like the fourth Mark Wahlberg picture of a year that he's just doing because they're going to pay him to do it. Yeah. She's not even going to be in the good Mark Wahlberg picture of that year.
Yeah.
So all of her Hollywood shit went away because she's lost repeatedly, badly, with no sign of improvement, and then quit. And then she's going to go do, I'm going to use air quotes, fake fighting. And we're supposed to buy it now?
She's also insecure as all.
Oh, Jesus.
And if and for anyone who, again, if you watch The Ultimate Fighter where she was the coach on, there was a moment where one of her fighters missed weight, which is a big deal. I mean, it doesn't reflect well on the coach that she wasn't like on him because it was clear he was going to miss weight. He was like eating what he wanted, sort of thing. It was, one of those. But it really reflected poorly on him, not on her. And she's like, I'm gonna do weight cut. I'm gonna prove that that I'm a good coach. I'm like, wow.
That has nothing to do with coaching.
This is the Ultimate Fighter. Let's put it this way. If we go way back to Ultimate Fighter Season 1 for a moment, Randy Couture was one coach, Chuck Liddell was the other coach. Both the guys who won that season and 3 out of the 4 finalists were Chuck Liddell's guys. Chuck is an inferior coach to Randy.
Correct.
Not remote, the Pit produced Glover Teixeira, and that was about it. Extreme Couture and Team Quest has produced literally generations of fighters. There's no question who the better coach was. The Ultimate Fighter doesn't really prove anything on coaching level. And she is so worked up about it on that whole thing. Like, she is incredibly insecure, and it kind of showed on the mic tonight where the crowd was kind of not reacting how she thought it would. And
well, they won't. They're not going to.
Oh, that's my point, is she didn't really know what to do. And I'm like, what happens if she's not very good in the ring and the crowd lets her have it? This could be terrible.
Well, they absolutely have to book her like Goldberg. If they don't book her exactly like Goldberg, it's going to fail. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, but how do you do that on a show that has Nia Jax?
Keep her the fuck away. Keep her the fuck away. You do they're going to do the reshuffling of the reshuffle of the reshuffle. So Nia Jax will end up on SmackDown. Anybody with any kind of body mass is going to end up on SmackDown. Yeah, and then you're going to have Ronda Rousey just smashing little tiny fairy girls around.
Long story short, a lot of people, including Steven Larson, probably most notably, are like, this is going to be tons of money. And I'm like, I am not actually convinced that it will. Maybe I'm wrong, but I see a lot of potential problems here when it comes to the big gravy train off of this.
Yeah, it's either going to work exactly like Goldberg or not work even 1%. It's not going to work at all. It's going to crash and burn. She'll be out of the promotion within a year because there's no way Vince is going to do anything except keep dumping money into a lost cause. So there's that. But 2 years absolute maximum, and it'll fail horribly, or it'll be the best thing ever because they actually learn how to book Goldberg. So
yeah, I hope this works. I think a lot of people are just taking it as a sure thing, and I don't think it is. I think they have the wrong idea of what Ronda Rousey is.
There is talk that she's going to be the second Paul Heyman advocate person. So
that'd be a good plan.
That'd be the best plan in the world. That would be the ultimate plan. So, and there's pictures of her in the past wearing Paul Heyman girl t-shirts. So, I mean, there's that.
And then we go to the main event of the evening.
Indeed. Main event this week involved two jobbers and people.
7-man elimination chamber match.
Oh, sorry. The main event of this. Sorry, my bad. I get all confused. We had your boy, Elias Femfin Bebe.
Doing a
your boy,
number.
The Myth. Seth Rollins, Juan Cena, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns, which we all knew was going to win because it's foreordained a year ahead of time, for fuck's sake. This match got just a little bit more than 10 minutes more than the women's match, which is fine. Braun Strowman eliminated everybody and then got eliminated because that's how things are. You book them almost right, and then you throw it right in the toilet and take a giant greasy shit on it. Perfect. Well done, guys.
I liked a lot of the moments of this match. There were some good high spots that I enjoyed. There were some good stories throughout. But yeah, the end result is Roman Reigns beat one guy to go to Mania. And that guy was younger, stronger, faster than...
more intelligent.
Brock Lesnar.
Less steroids.
Probably.
Probably.
Maybe. That's questionable. But it kind of undersells, like, because the thing is you've also had Braun Strowman versus Lesnar, and it never really looked like Lesnar was a bigger threat than Braun, even though you gave him a win over Braun.
Yeah, that's you know what it is Lesnar knows that Braun should. The ultimate fantasy booking warfare come to life right now. Braun Strowman just fucking snatches that title, and no one can touch him. He goes 2 years undefeated with the belt. Then somebody, not Roman fucking Reigns, defeats him for the belt. And then he disappears for 3 months. He comes back he's already pretty well spoken. If you put him on the mic and ask him some stuff, Mixed Match Challenge, if you haven't seen him do Mixed Match Challenge and do the interview, watch that shit. He comes back even more well spoken. And you have this progression of the Hulk. You have the angry Smash Beast, and then he gets intelligent. And you have the angry Smash Beast that now has also Bruce Banner's intelligence. And then you can't fucking stop him. Ever again. Until you've got that one golden boy. That one golden boy come along. And hopefully they don't Bruno Sammartino, Nikita Koloff the shit out of this and give up on Nikita after like 2 days in the ring because you're retards. And that's how this should go. However, Braun Strowman, out of 7 contestants, we had Braun Strowman come in at number 6 and Roman Reigns come in at number 5. And the one thing I did like about this is that nobody got eliminated until they were all in the ring. I like that. That was cool.
Wasn't Miz eliminated before Elias came in?
Maybe. But he doesn't matter, so he doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah. Braun eliminated Miz with the running power slam just before Elias locked himself in his pod.
Yeah, just like Alexa Bliss. So Elias is the new Alexa Bliss. Dye your hair, bitch. Yeah, and then so Braun Strowman eliminated The Miz, Elias, John Cena, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and then happened to trip over his own fucking shoelaces, and then Roman Reigns eliminated him. Whoopie-doo.
That's the sad thing is there were some really, really good spots in here, like some fantastic stuff. I enjoyed Miz trying to make allies with Balor and Rollins, and them eventually just saying, how about we take you out?
Yeah. Well, Finn Balor was at least 2 spots in this match where he was just really rolling, and everybody was going crazy. I think maybe even 3 spots where he was just getting it. Everything was going. Everything's getting together. Everybody's like, Finn, yeah, Finn, fucking yeah. And then, but you can't do that. You have to have Greaseball Black kind of go over. And, yeah, I don't, whatever. I don't fucking care. Like, Finn Balor just eliminated the shit out of people. And then all the scraps were picked up after that. It's, I guess, what I expected, because Roman Reigns again had to do very little work whatsoever to overcome no obstacles because reasons, and then gets the cheap win, and you expect him to be over, but he hasn't had to struggle against adversity, so he's not over.
Because, in the end, he eliminates just Braun, and Braun got beat up like 4 and 5 on 1 most of the time.
Yeah, they did the quadruple shield bomb. Literally everybody hit him with their finisher, and they still couldn't pin him because Braun. And then Roman Reigns just kind of goes, "Oh well, I'm gonna tap you on the chin, and you're just gonna lay down for me because that's what the boss says."
Yeah. Well, he did it with 2 spears, but yeah. But that's the thing is, during that finisher train, like even Roman hit his finisher on him, so it's like, kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I actually kind of I liked the It Kicks spot because it was great because he started hammering away at Roman's chest protector.
Yeah. I don't know, it took too long. It's like everything The Miz does. It's 16 minutes of theatrics followed by 0 follow-up because you can't make contact with with your opponent because you're a softy, and then it loses it lost all validity 20 minutes ago, and then you follow it up with even less. But whatever.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, wrong guy won, and unlike the women's match where I'm like, okay, if you tell me that Bliss is gonna win, this is probably how we do it. This is not how I would have done Roman winning.
No.
This is not how I would have gotten him over.
No, you put Roman... if you want Roman to get over, you put him in the first 3 that were in the match. And then he has to struggle. Not get hit and take 20 minutes off and then come back at the end and win. He needs to struggle the entire fucking match.
Frankly, he needs to be in the Braun Strowman spot where he's almost getting beaten up. He's the one getting bullied and allied against. Which you can't really do with Braun Strowman in the match, but this is...
No.
Ergo, the problem is realistically, going back all the way to this, is again, we're building him up to dismounting Lesnar. It should be, we're building him up to take out Braun. If, in a world where Roman could actually be the guy we get behind.
Yeah, and we would if you guys could book things right.
But they don't know how. They don't. I've said this before.
No clue.
They don't actually know how to make stars. Their stars have all come accidentally or out of desperation. Back in the days of competitiveness, like The Rock. Like, for example, The Rock and Stone Cold are their 2 biggest stars of all time. They didn't know how to make The Rock a star.
They don't have a clue.
They didn't try to make Stone Cold a star. That happened accidentally. And you could say, well, they made John Cena a star. I'm like, John Cena wasn't the Promos guy either. He came up with his own gimmick, basically.
Yep.
And Stephanie McMahon gets a little bit of credit for like hearing him do some battle raps and being like, that could work. And then Dr. Thugonomics was born, but that still wasn't even a big push. The big push came later when he accidentally got over.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's they've continued to fail at doing anything right with any of their talent, other than having a nap in the back and accidentally letting their guys do what they do best, unscripted, unrestrained. And to John Cena's credit, he's always professed that. He's always said, listen, if you got a gut feeling, you got to go for it. Because there's no way that anybody else, no one's going to book you the way that you think, the way that you need to be booked. You need to, if you feel a certain way and you see something and your instinct says to go for it, you need to go for it. And if they fire you, man, I guess that's what happens. But if you get over, they're not going to fire you just for getting over. They might punish you because Vince is insanely jealous and is so angry. He's like this tiniest dick motherfucker in the world. Like, yeah, but I'm the creator. I'm the guy who gets people. No, Vince, you've never gotten anybody over in your entire life. What the fuck? So, yeah, but to John Cena's credit, he's always stood by that. So, good on him. Again, as an overall for the pay-per-view, there's nothing wrong with it. It was pretty good. It was all right. It was tolerable.
Yeah, it's all good actually in a vacuum.
Yeah, but the lead up to any of these matches didn't make any sense. I can't point to one thing that had good booking leading up to it. The only reason any of these matches took place at all is because in like a month and a bit, you're going to have another pay-per-view. So we're hopscotching pay-per-view to pay-per-view to pay-per-view, and we're not doing anything else in the middle. You might as well have had anything else happen. You might as well have had Cesaro and Sheamus wrestle anybody else. You might as well have had none of the women do any of the things you had any of them do. The only thing I guess, Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt, that's the only thing that had a continual storyline that made any form of sense whatsoever, even though it made the least amount of sense whatsoever. But yeah, the rest of this was just a hodgepodge thrown together, but the pay-per-view itself kind of turned out okay.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that, honestly, if I go back and, like, I don't know, I get a kick and I want to watch some Elimination Chambers, and I go back, I'll enjoy it. But in the moment, yeah, the storytelling around it, not very good. And we're just trying to get to goal. We're trying to get to some places at Mania, but with no real interconnective tissue for them.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like hopscotch on different basketball courts. It's not going to work. You can't jump that far.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll be back maybe tomorrow with Honor Rising. And we'll hit up that. And we got Raw tomorrow. And we'll hit up with the WWE review come next weekend. When is Fastlane? Is that next weekend or is it the weekend after?
I want to say further away than that, but I could be wrong.
Well, they got most of the card worked out, which usually means it's somewhat soon. But we'll be back with that as well.
It's going to be way too close to Mania to really make any sense. March 11th it will be Fastlane.
Okay, so that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, so Fastlane will be March 11th, and then WrestleMania will be April 8th. Okay, so that's almost a whole month. That makes some sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about 2 months gap. Not 2 months, but a month and a half gap between Elimination Chamber and not a month and a half. What am I talking about? But it's going to be a weird amount of gap for Raw. And also their theme song sucked as per usual because no one knows who this is. It didn't fit anything. It doesn't make anybody excited to watch wrestling. It doesn't have anything to do with combat. It doesn't have any excitement to it, and it's garbage. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yep, can't really dispute any of that.
Yeah. Are you gonna have a Man on a Mission song and not induct Men on a Mission into the Hall of Fame? You stupid fucks! What the fuck? Are you dumb?
Anyways, until we're back at you with New Japan /ROH, he's Byron. I'm Mike. Follow us on Twitter. It's in the description below. Facebook groups there as well. Yeah, and get off Byron's lawn.
I'm gonna go take all the drugs.